forum has brought together over 50 civil society members from about 10 countries of East Africa. The purpose of coming together is, one, to strengthen civil society organization to effectively do sector monitoring, do high-level commitment monitoring, to effectively promote good governance, to share information so that we are able to participate in the sector more meaningfully. And also to make sure that, also to share experiences, to learn from each other and share knowledge so that we remain relevant. At the end of the 3 days, we need to see a clear roadmap of how civil society will effectively participate in sector monitoring, will effectively participate and contribute to future high-level commitment development process, and also a roadmap of a set of indicators that will help us monitor the future and the current commitments that are made by governments for effective WASH service delivery.
Sanitation and water for all is organized along the constituencies. For example, I represent civil society. There's someone else for development partners, someone else for government, and so on. There seems to be still a bit of linkage in the same kind of structure, functioning effectively at country level. And many people are asking, how do we make this work? We needed to strengthen the coordination between the constituencies. Government, civil society, development partners, there is a group called others, and so
on. I mean, there was a lot of discussion, or not discussion, a lot of times the role of the civil society was referred to often as the very importance of civil society in tracking commitments, in helping looking for additional funding, in helping an implementation of programs. But civil society needs to use the available information to advocate for increased finances. So hence again, extra responsibility for civil society. I mean, other issues that was mentioned by the first and the second speaker was the need to strengthen coordination among ministries, which we all know. Again, civil society is a key partner to monitor and to implement. And also, what was mentioned was WASH is a gender-sensitive issue and the need for gender-segregated data. Following up on the commitments is a challenge, especially with regard to sufficient funding. So persons who are making the commitments are not necessarily the ones who decide on the resources.
The ministers of water can commit themselves in an international meeting to do certain things. However, when they come back home, the allocation of resources is not done by the Minister of Water. It is done by politicians, by cabinet, and in some cases by even State House. So you find that they have committed themselves, but they have no power, no authority to allocate resources to make sure those commitments are implemented.
The one has been great for me because of two main things. One, we got the opportunity to actually engage face-to-face with people from government, from the Ministry of Water and Environment, and from the Ministry of Finance. Which was a very great, which was a great opportunity for us to know exactly what government thinks about the role of civil society organizations in tracking the sanitation and water for all commitments, and also our civil society organizations' participation in enabling the high-level meetings to actually take place and to ensure that the Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Water, and the other sector ministries like education and health are also on board.
I think today was really exciting, and the key highlight that I had was the fascinating discussion the peer-to-peer learning that took place in the afternoon, where the different countries were really sharing their experiences, and you could see the diversity of both the experiences and expertise in doing advocacy work around monitoring WASH commitments, but also in terms of the common challenges that they're facing. And I think that really kind of sparks some interesting debate about how, as a region, as the East Africa region, together the countries can learn from each other and pick the best ways to tackle the implementation and accelerating progress on water and sanitation in the East Africa region.
Civil society organizations need to work also with other stakeholders like the government and the development partners to ensure that actually these high-level commitments are tracked, and also the action plans that are developed within the countries address the commitments that were made by the leaders at the high-level meeting. Therefore, there is need for effective coordination among different stakeholders in the sector. And we also need to ensure that the different line ministries are involved in these task forces that follow up on the commitments and also prepare for the high-level meetings.
As you said, there's quite a lot, but one I picked which is very interesting is Uganda gentleman from the Ministry of Finance who actually talked about the space which is available from the sector. And I find, he said there is a space, and the people from the sector in the Ministry of Water and Environment in Uganda do not take that opportunity to present, themselves, particularly sanitation. I think I like that one, which is much encouraging the civil society to be there and be proactive. This is one area I will take back home.
I think also there are something also attracted me that we need to know. In that space also we need to know the people we want to target, but also the politics issues around.
Exactly.
So that we have the right strategy to target those people.
Yeah, particularly the political agenda more than the development agenda.
Yeah.
NGOs that are working on WASH really need to coordinate their work together, share experiences, and be able to speak with one united voice in advocacy to the government on issues of WASH, including WASH policy, the budget issues, and then how we can monitor government commitments to WASH.
We need to advocate at a higher political level. We need to be able to work within the available resources. There's a need for increased transparency among civil society. The domestication of the commitments was also mentioned as something we need to do, reaching out to local governments. And then the inclusion of the civil society from a planning stage, and the planning stage at the very beginning, something we need to keep in mind, as well as building a task team for follow-up on the commitments. So if we could just increase access with 1%, just one little bit, could make a big difference. So I think maybe that's the message that we want to remind.